All right, today lesson 12b, we're going to take a time out for a day or two on this rational number stuff and try and get this circumference area of a circle thing under control. You now have had 14 X problem worksheets, and on those X problem worksheets are also area and circumference, or excuse me, area and perimeter geometric shapes like rectangles and parallelograms and triangles and trapezoids. And then a few weeks ago I added this idea of a circle. The perimeter of a circle is the circumference. We call it something different because there are no sides that we need to add up, so it has a different name. But circumference does mean the distance around a circle, and area, of course, is the amount of surface that covers whatever it is we're talking about, and today we're talking about circles. So, circumference of a circle, as I told you before, is the diameter times pi. And the diameter, and I would like you to draw another circle somewhere off to the side. This is the diameter. That's D. Diameter is all the way across a circle, going through the center. And that's the key. It goes through the center. Whereas, and I'd like you to draw another circle from the center out to the edge, that's called the radius. So if you have a radius and you want to find the diameter, you just have to double it because the radius is only halfway across, whereas the diameter is all the way across. But the formula that we're going to use for circumference involves the diameter. So every time I ask you for the circumference, we need the diameter. And sometimes, if we're given the radius, we've got to find that diameter. But in the first circle right here, I give you this. I'm telling you that the diameter is 7. So to find the circumference of any circle, it is the diameter times pi. What's the diameter in this circle again?
7.
It's 7. So that means that the circumference is 7 pi. And since circumference is just like perimeter, for perimeter, whatever the units are, that's what the units are for the perimeter. So for the circumference, it's the same thing. So our circumference would be 7, oops, let me erase that. It would be 7 pi inches. And the units should always go at the very end, just like they do with rectangles and parallelograms and triangles and trapezoids. So the circumference is 7 pi inches. How do you find the circumference? It's the diameter times pi. The diameter times pi. Let's go to number 1. In number 1, you have a circle. I'm telling you that the radius is 5 inches. Raise your hand if you can tell me what the diameter is. And after my full explanation, there should be almost no thought into figuring that out. What is it? 10. It's 10 inches. So let's fill in the diameter with 10 inches. Now, why am I doing that? I'm doing that because that's what we need to find the circumference. We need the diameter. So that means that the diameter, since we know right here that the diameter is 10, that's what we put in, or substituted in, for the diameter right there. So that would make the circumference of that circle 10 pi inches. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Now, in order to find the diameter, the circumference, we need the diameter. But in number 2, I do want to go ahead and write down what the radius is, and that is 4 meters. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're going to need to go back and forth when we are finding the area. Can anybody tell me what the circumference of this circle is? So, in number 2, we know that the diameter is 8. So that means that the circumference is 8 pi, and then we cannot forget the units. The units in this one is meters, so 8 pi meters. All right, I would like everybody to try number 3 and number 4. Find the circumference of both of the circles there. So the radius is 12 feet. We don't need the radius for the formula that we're using for the circumference. We need the diameter. And if it's 12 feet halfway across, that means it's 24 feet all the way across. That's what the diameter is. So therefore, the circumference is 24 pi feet. How about number 4? What is the circumference of that circle?
I concluded that the circumference is 16 pi centimeters.
Yeah, we already have the diameter. When we have the diameter, there's really no work to be done there. It's diameter times pi. 16 is the diameter. So therefore, it is 16 pi, and then we're talking about centimeters in this problem. So it is 16 pi centimeters. I'm going ahead every problem, and I'm filling in what the radius is, because we need to know the relationship between those two, especially when we hit area, which is coming up in about 2 minutes. All right, everybody quickly do number 5 and number 6. To find the circumference with the formula that we're using, we need the diameter. We don't know the diameter yet. The radius is 16 feet. That's halfway across. All the way across is the diameter. That's 32 feet. So now we can easily find that the circumference is 32 pi feet. How about number 6? What did you get for number 6?
For number 6, I concluded that the circumference is 42 pi centimeters.
Okay, good. And we already know the diameter. That's what we need. If we were asked to find the radius, it is 21 centimeters. But the circumference is 42 pi centimeters. All right, so let's shift to area now. Backside. So for the circumference, we need the diameter. For the area, we need the radius, because the formula for finding the area of a circle is radius to the second power times pi. Radius squared times pi. So we need the radius to find the area. Here in our example problem, the radius is 5. So 5 to the second power is 25, so that would make the area 25 pi. But for all area problems, remember, it's units squared. The units here are inches, so it would be 25 pi inches squared. I would like all of you to try number 7 and number 8. The area of a circle is the radius squared times pi. All right, how about number 7? Amanda.
I concluded that the area is 36 pi inches squared.
Good. We need the radius to find the area. The radius is 6. So the radius squared is 6 times 6, which is 36. So the area is 36 pi inches squared. How about number 8, Raul?
I concluded the area is 81 pi inches squared.
Good. Once again, to find the area, we need the radius. The radius is 9. So 9 squared is 81. Therefore, the area is 81 pi meters squared. But what if we don't know the area? Like in number 9. We need the radius in order to find the area. What's the radius of that circle, Veronica?
Radius equals 16.
It's 16. That's what we need, because to find the area, remember, it is the radius squared times pi. Everybody find the area for that circle. Very good. All right, so we know the radius is 16. 16 to the second power is 256. 16 times 16 is 256. So the area is 256 pi meters squared. All right, finish it off. Finish number 10, 11, and 12. We'll compare with our shoulder partners, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do for the next 10 or 15 minutes. In order to find the circumference of a circle, the way that we are doing it, we need the diameter. In order to find the area, we need the radius. In number 10, we do not have the radius. That 20 is going all the way across, therefore it is the diameter. The radius is 10. It's 10 halfway across. So the area is 10 to the second power. The radius squared times pi. 10 squared is 100, so it is 100 pi kilometers squared. 100 pi kilometers squared. We need the radius to find the area. And number 11, we have the radius. So we can just jump straight to 11 to the second power times pi. 11 to the second power is 11 times 11, which is 121. So the area is 121 pi meters squared. In number 12, we do not have the radius. What is the radius, by the way?
12.
It's 12. So it's going to be, for the area, 12 to the second power times pi. Since 12 is the radius, 12 times 12 is 144. Therefore, it is 144 pi feet squared.